We all use it pretty much every single day. But have you ever stopped to think about what the World Wide Web actually is? And hey, isn't it just the same thing as the internet? Well, let's dive in and break it all down.
Okay, so first things first, let's clear something up right out of the gate. We hear the words internet and World Wide Web thrown around like they're the same thing all the time. But are they? The short answer, nope, not at all. And understanding why is the first step to really getting how our digital world works.
You know, the easiest way to wrap your head around this is with an analogy. Think of the internet as a massive, world-spanning library. It's the physical building, the shelves, all the physical wires and computers connecting everything together. The World Wide Web, on the other hand, is the system you use to actually find and read the books in that library. It's the service that runs on top of the internet's infrastructure. See, one is the building, the other is how you access what's inside.
Right, so the web didn't just appear overnight in its current form. It's actually gone through three pretty distinct phases, or ages, if you will, evolving from something really simple and static to the incredibly smart, interactive thing we know today.
So the story really kicks off back in 1989 with its invention by Tim Berners-Lee. From there, we jumped into Web 1.0, which was a very basic read-only experience. Then, around the mid-2000s, Web 2.0 showed up and was a total game changer, turning all of us from just readers into creators. And now, we're stepping into the era of Web 3.0, a web that's actually becoming intelligent.
Let's talk about Web 1.0 for a second. It was basically a giant digital encyclopedia. You could go online, you could look at static pages, and you could read information. But that was pretty much it. It was a one-way street. There was no commenting, no liking, no sharing. You were just a consumer.
And then, bam, the revolution. Web 2.0 comes along and completely flips the script. All of a sudden, the web becomes a two-way conversation. This is the era that gave us blogs, wikis, and of course, all the social media platforms we use every single day. The web went from a place where we just go to get information to a place we all help build.
Which brings us to today and tomorrow, Web 3.0, also called the semantic web. The whole idea here is to create a smarter web, one that uses things like AI and machine learning to understand context, kind of like a person would. So instead of just searching for a recipe, imagine your smart assistant finding it, then checking your calendar, knowing you're gluten-free, and automatically adding the right ingredients to your grocery list. That's the personalized promise of Web 3.0.
So, we've talked about the what and the when, but what about the how? How does typing a web address into your browser magically bring up a beautiful, interactive page? Let's pop the hood and see how the engine actually runs.
And what's wild is that this all happens in the blink of an eye. It starts with you typing in a domain name. You know, something easy for us humans to remember. But computers, they prefer numbers. So your browser pings something called the DNS, which is basically the giant address book for the entire web. The DNS translates that name into a numerical IP address. And with that number, your browser knows exactly which server to connect to in order to grab the website and build it right there on your screen.
So what does your browser actually grab from that server? It's all code, written in 3 main languages that build every single website you visit. A good way to think about it is like building a house. HTML, that's your foundation in your walls, the basic structure. CSS is all the paint, the furniture, the interior design. It's what makes it look good. And then you have JavaScript. That's the electricity, the plumbing, the smart home devices. It's what makes everything in the house actually work.
So, with all this technology working behind the scenes, we've built this incredibly vast and diverse digital world. It's woven into just about every part of our lives now, far, far beyond just entertainment and cat videos.
I mean, just look at this ecosystem. It's basically a digital reflection of our real-world society. E-commerce is a huge slice of the pie, yeah, but you've also got massive chunks dedicated to news, education, government services, and just good old-fashioned personal expression. It's everything we do just digitized.
And speaking of that big slice, it's almost impossible to overstate the impact on commerce. It's not just about being convenient. The ability to buy and sell things globally, right from your couch, has fundamentally rewired how retail works and, frankly, the entire global economy.
So, when you have billions, literally billions, of people all interacting in this one digital space, it effectively becomes a society of its own. And like any society, it needs some rules of the road to keep things running smoothly.
This is where the idea of netiquette comes in. It's exactly what it sounds like. Etiquette for the net. It's that unwritten shared code of conduct for how to be polite, appropriate, and respectful when we're online.
In a place that can feel so anonymous sometimes, these are the rules that keep the whole thing from descending into chaos.
So here we are. We've gone from a simple, one-way web of information all the way to the dawn of this intelligent Web 3.0. But as the technology gets smarter, the questions get a whole lot bigger. As the web starts to predict our needs, maybe even before we do, what does that mean for our privacy, for our choices? When the web knows what we want, who's really in control? That's the crucial question we have to grapple with as we step into this new digital future.